What's good, YouTube? It's Justice Ace to be paid, and today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the exploitation of Julio Foolio's death. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Death is a thing in life that happens, and it always brings with it sadness and overall just a sense of negativity in general. But sometimes opportunities may arise out of death, unfortunately, and that may push people to do some pretty wild things sometimes, like when people take out their family members for like insurance monies. And I don't mean insurance money, and I don't mean take them out to dinner. I mean try to cash in on that life insurance plan. It'll push people to do some really weird things, and that's no different in the rap industry. Rap and rap death is always a very interesting topic, especially when it comes to making money off of that rap death. And I already spoke in the past about the strange relationship that rap fans have with death in rap. But even outside of just the fans, death in general in the rap space can bring some pretty nasty results. Typically, it comes in the form of like tarnishing someone's legacy via dropping way too many posthumous albums or way too much posthumous music, or maybe they're overdoing it with the memorabilia and all the merch and stuff, or maybe they even have a hologram on stage performing for that person. But when a drill rapper is the person that loses their life, it gets even nastier. And for all of you who haven't been on the internet for the last couple of weeks, the rapper Julio Foolio, who was a drill rapper out of Florida, passed away in a shooting, and the internet has been set ablaze ever since. People have been going crazy online, and I didn't want to immediately jump on this topic. I didn't want to talk about it immediately because I wasn't that big. I wasn't a fan of the dude at all. I wasn't going to say I wasn't a fan at all. I didn't really talk about the dude. I never really covered him outside of some of the stuff that happened a couple years ago with the whole ATK, KTA thing. So I didn't want to just like disingenuously like jump on the story. Of course, I could have just like reported on what happened, but everybody else was already doing that. So I didn't want to be the guy that was just jumping in and just getting some views off of it real quick. So I wanted to give it a little bit of time to breathe. But now here I am today making this video, and I acknowledge the elephant in the room that I guess you could say in a way, exploiting his death as well by making this video. So in this video, I'm not going to just play the superior moral high ground. I'm not going to act like I'm just better than everyone else, but I am aiming to point out the exploitation that is happening with Julio Foolio's death and just showing how profitable a death in rap can be for a whole bunch of different parties. And, you know, people just in general think like, oh, it's just the label. No, it's not just the label. There is a whole bunch of different parties here who are exploiting and benefiting off of Julio Foolio's death. And I wanted to point that out with this video. And yes, you could technically throw me into that group as well. When it comes to the death of a rapper like Foolio, who was a Florida drill rapper who spent a large portion of his career trolling his ops and dissing ops that are dead or alive, the rules just aren't the same when it comes to death for those guys, because even the street rappers somewhat get their respect when they pass away. They typically get kind of left alone. Some people might bring their names up, but for the most part, they're left alone. Even for the street dudes, there's a sense of respect there for, okay, this person has now passed away. Let's just kind of leave it alone. Let's just kind of put that in the past. But when it's somebody like Foolio, that doesn't exist. There's a sense of like, he deserved it, or he brought this on to himself, which is a valid, feeling to have when it comes to his death. So there's a different level of sensitivity when people talk about Julio Foolio's death in comparison to another rapper's death. And that sensitivity is pretty much zero. Like there's pretty much none. And it leads to some things that are like bordering on inhumanity when it comes to the way that people talk about Foolio's death, or talk about the things surrounding it, or make money off of his death. And it's almost like they don't even recognize that this is still, despite anything that Julio Foolio may have done and whatever hell he may have raised, he still is, somebody's loved one, somebody's cousin, auntie, or not, he's not somebody's auntie, what the hell, somebody's nephew, somebody's, grandkid, somebody's son. They act like that just isn't there. And so a lot of really weird things will ensue surrounding somebody like Foolio's death. Foolio's death has been exploited on a billion different levels. And when people heard that he died, specifically content creators, they jumped on it immediately in order to get some views. Now, of course, there were people who were just like covering the news like everyone else and telling us what happened, or, making a video saying, giving their condolences or feeling sad because he was their favorite rapper. Of course, there were people doing normal stuff like that. But then there was a group of people who were just jumping on it because it was hot and they just wanted to get their views up real quick. They saw an opportunity and they've been kind of milking it ever since. Vlad when this actually happened, re-uploaded a video that he had with Julio Foolio, his interview that he did with him maybe 2 years ago. He re-uploaded the entire interview, I want to say 12 hours after Julio Foolio was pronounced dead. 12 hours. The man's body hadn't even gotten cold yet, and he re-uploaded an entire interview, an entire 2.5 hour interview. And in the interview, of course, he's telling his life story and all that stuff, and people are going to want to hear your life story after your life is over. People are way more interested once you go out the way that Julio Foolio went out. Now they want to hear why. What happened here? How did he grow up? So that's just an example. Vlad isn't the only one, but immediately after he died, 12 hours later, the man's body isn't even at the morgue yet. He's freshly dead. They are uploading or re-uploading old content of him because his name is in the algorithm. His name is going to provide clicks and views. And, I'll give Vlad the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he doesn't deserve it. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to, warn people of the life that Foolio was living and have his story be a warning to everyone else to not live your life like this. But man, it couldn't even wait at least a day. Just immediately re-uploading it was crazy to me. And that's not me singling out Vlad because he's not the only one that's done this. Young and Ace exploiting the death is something that literally nobody should be surprised by because these two were their biggest ops. They were Goku and Vegeta of each other before, Goku and Vegeta eventually patched things up and became friends. But that was the type of relationship they had. They were each other's top ops. They were dissing each other back and forth for years. People had died in between the beef of those two, and they were constantly dissing each other's dead friends. So when one of them eventually lost their life, nobody was surprised by the fact that the other one was trolling or celebrating and doing all that. But Young and Ace wasn't just celebrating on social media and posting on his Instagram story and all that and having a good old jolly time. He actually took the time out to drop 2 music videos. Now, obviously, the first one was already prepared before Foolio died. I'm not saying he prepared it like he knew he was going to die, like he was going to send the hit. And then, I'm not saying that, but this was very obviously something that he had waiting. So he dropped a song and a music video maybe 14 hours after Foolio died, 16 hours after, something like that. He pretty much immediately dropped a new song, and then he dropped another song, and both of those songs were the #1 trending songs on YouTube. Both songs. And in the song, of course, he's gloating and he's talking about do it and sending hits out and stuff like that. And basically, in a way, kind of insinuating that he may have possibly had something to do with the crime, while also at the same time just rapping kind of generically how he tends to rap. And of course, that reaped some of the internet points that were there to be reaped. Both of those songs did millions of views in less than a couple of days' time. And I'm not saying this to kind of downplay Young and Ace as an artist, but I'm just telling the truth here. That would not have happened if this incident didn't take place. If Young and Ace just drops those 2 songs, they don't do nearly as many views as what they did because of that situation. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, I'm not saying that Foolio is the only reason Young and Ace has a career and he's, without Foolio, there's nothing he can do. That's not what I'm saying, because Young and Ace is a big name. He has a big catalog of music. He's loved. He is a big artist. He has good music for the most part. People like him, right? But we're not going to sit up here and act like he was extremely hot and extremely viral before this incident took place, because that's just not what happened. That would just not be the truth in this scenario. He massively benefited from the death of Foolio by posting those music videos and going #1. And maybe he had absolutely nothing to do with it, and he just realized that this was perfect timing. But either way, this is exploitation. He's exploiting his death. And I'm not saying I expected him to be respectful of Foolio's death. Nobody expected that, but that's just what this is. It doesn't matter what circumstances, what context you add. This is the exploitation of Julio Foolio. That's what it is. And him also kind of playing into some of the internet theories, people trying to immediately tie him to the situation. Him playing into that is a part of the game as well, because he not only gets the benefit of, okay, Julio has passed away. Obviously, as soon as Julio passes away, everyone's going to look at Young and Ace. He's not only pulling those people in with the song and the music video views and all that, but he's also, by insinuating that he might have possibly been connected to it, gaining some of that internet points as well. He's gaining some of those street cred internet points, which sounds really stupid, but it is very valuable to a career. It's part of the reason why a lot of the dudes in Chicago go up so fast. It's part of the reason why people were so obsessed with King Von or so obsessed with Von off 1700 right now. Spinning the block on content creators again, we have people just completely reaching and doing whatever they can to make content on this situation because they know it's what people want to hear. It's what people want to talk about. So they're just completely pulling stuff out of their butt. They're reaching for headlines. They're reaching for titles, making things up, connecting things that aren't supposed to be connected, just doing whatever. You got people making clickbait videos saying 6 people from Young and Ace's side have now passed away. And that itself, that video is leading to beef with the whole Brick Baby and whatever the ATK guy's name was, or Brick Baby bans Young and Ace from doing shows in Carolina, then Young and Ace does a show in Carolina, then Brick Baby says, but I let you do a show, I knew where you were. Like, it's just causing a whole bunch of ridiculousness because of these clickbait YouTube channels, these channels that are just reaching and pulling at literally anything, and seeing this situation not as something to cover in hip hop, not as a story that needs to be broken down, not as something that needs research behind it and somebody to tell the truth and do a real investigation. They just see it as an opportunity to gain views. They see it as more content to feed them, more ad revenue to go buy, eventually save up and buy a Hellcat. People just, again, flat out lying about the situation and just clickbaiting to hell. One page in particular, though, that I've been waiting to pack them up. And I'm not going to lie, I might make a deeper video breaking this page down. I might have to just pack them up officially. One page in particular has been exploiting the hell out of Julio Foolio's death, and that is Rap Daily. And Rap Daily has been doing a lot of weird stuff. I've been noticing that channel for years. And it first really started with the whole Takeoff death, and they were doing some weird stuff back then. But as of recently, they have been exploiting the hell out of Julio Foolio's death. And I get it. Julio wasn't an angel. He wasn't a church boy. He wasn't in the choir. He wasn't serving the homeless and, being a good Samaritan. But there's a certain point where it's just like, you're doing too much. Rap Daily, in the 2 weeks since this has happened, has posted 47 videos about Julio Foolio in the situation. 47 in 2 weeks. 47. I'm not kidding. Count them out yourself. And honestly, by the time that I upload this, there might be a couple more. That's sick. That's not even ridiculous. That's just sick. You have an illness. You are sick. I get it. It's bringing in the clicks. It's bringing in the money. But dude, you have no moral standing whatsoever. Again, maybe Julio Foolio doesn't deserve a lick of respect and death because of the life he lived. Maybe you want to say that. Okay, I'm not going to fight you on it. I don't really care. But this is just ridiculous. 47 videos in 2 weeks on any topic is stretching it to a ridiculous point. But on somebody's death, and you're just covering Foolio did this. Oh my God, did he say this? He sent a letter to Young and Ace. Oh my God, the FBI said this. This is just exploitation. This is not covering a story. This is not hip hop journalism. This is not research. This isn't even reaction content. This is just exploitation. This is just being a sicko for views. And Rap Daily has been doing this for a long time. So I think it's about time that people start saying something about it. But I just wanted to point them out again as a channel that specifically does this type of thing. 47 I don't know if I've posted 47 videos this year. That's a ridiculous amount of videos on one topic. One topic. And it's a man's death. That's just weirdo behavior. The internet is the best detective in the world, so people online have been trying to piece together what happened that night and who possibly could have done it ever since it happened. And of course, they've come with a list of suspects who they think, may have done it. I'm not going to say their names and try to list them off because the internet's probably wrong, even though, most of the times the internet does find things out pretty decently. A lot of the times they're just completely wrong. Look at what happened with XXXTentacion in the Soldier Kid dude who everyone was blaming for X's death. And he literally didn't even do anything. He was at a restaurant eating some fish and people just assumed that he, did the whole murder. But they've come with a list of guys, and one of the guys is wearing a specific outfit on his Instagram that it looks like one of the possible perpetrators were wearing in the surveillance footage. So people went to his Instagram and they've been commenting stuff about Foolio, telling him he's going to go to jail, telling him he needs to go to Haiti or move somewhere else. And the guy, realizing that people are on his page playing with him and stuff and trolling, has started to, like certain comments about Foolio, talking about how he deserved it or laughing at the situation as a whole. And it's gotten to the point where he is on his story on Instagram but asking anybody if they want to do promo with him and showing his views, showing that he gets 100,000 views on his story. And he has a page with 10,000 followers, which probably grew massively up to 10,000. And by the time I finish this video, it might be at 20, 30,000. He was posting, come hit me up for promo. You see these views? They think I did the thing. So y'all better come get this promo. And he's posting that and basically running away with it. Another guy who's been connected to the situation, I'm not sure how they connected him, but it doesn't really matter. He was, again, liking comments and stuff and trolling on his Instagram story, playing music, talking about, it was a good day and all that stuff. And people have been, again, in his comment section, and he took it and just said, forget it. I'm just going to start rapping. I don't know if he rapped before that, but he's rapping now, and he's posting a trailer with a snippet of his music. And in the trailer that he's making, there's a car that's surrounded, a toy car that's being surrounded, kind of hinting at what happened with Julio Foolio and how his car was surrounded when he passed away. So these dudes are basically seeing all the people in their comment section. They're seeing all this drama being brought to them and all these people accusing them of these things and running with it. They're just like, all right, well, either I don't know if they did it or not, but even if they didn't do it, they're just like, hey, everybody's here in my comment section. I might as well run it up, right? I might as well make some money off this. I might as well promote a song where I'm hinting at possibly being in the thing, and maybe more people will click on it and I can make some extra money. Also, a little caveat to throw in there, Foolio was not signed to a major label, at least I don't believe so. So for all the conspiracy theorists, guys who are like the labels are killing the rappers, I'm sorry, you can't get your money off this one. You can't make a conspiracy video. You can make one about the ring. He did wear the star ring, so you can talk about that. But yeah, you can't connect the label to this one. You can't blame him this time, guys. I'm sorry. Yet the most important group of people that are exploiting Foolio's death right now are his close ones. And I don't want to go too hard or go into this subject too deeply, because you never want to be insensitive to people that just lost a loved one. And it doesn't matter what hell Foolio may have raised, whether he deserves any sympathy or not, doesn't matter, because the people in his family or the people that are around him, his friends, some of the people that are around him are just regular people. They're just normal guys who just are normal guys and girls, normal whatever, who just lost a loved one. Okay, no matter what Foolio went through, you don't want to be insensitive to those people, no matter what he did, because he had normal people around him. He had normal people in his family, so I don't want to go there with them. But whoever is on his Instagram right now is playing games. And they're on there talking about he's not dead and his grandma does voodoo and he's coming back, and y'all ain't never seen this before, and I'm gonna be the first rapper to come back and all this stuff, and I got some stuff waiting on y'all on the way, and he's officially announced that he's voting for Donald Trump. Like, they just on there playing pretty much and making edits of his face on The Undertaker, just playing games and commenting under academics posts about him or Rap TV's posts about him, or even trolling Young and Ace when he's dropping new music under Young and Ace's comment section, and doing all this while like promoting some of Julio's new music and all that stuff and doing some ads along the way. And in my opinion, while this is very clearly the exploitation of Foolio, this instance, I don't really mind it, because when you look at the situation, Foolio was probably the breadwinner in his family, and a lot of people depended on Foolio to eat. A lot of them did. That's just the truth. And now he's gone. They have to find another way to eat again. Now, of course, they can get jobs, of course, like regular people, but what Foolio was providing for a lot of people can't probably be replaced at the moment. So when they're like disrespecting his legacy or doing all this stuff, playing games, I kind of get it. I understand it, because he's not there to make them money anymore. So them doing what they can to make money off his legacy isn't that big of a problem, in my opinion. And now some people might say, well, where is this energy when it comes to like X's family or Juice WRLD and his girlfriend? Like, why do they get called out for the exploitation? And why do you think it's okay for Foolio's family in this case? And I just think it's because it's two completely different scenarios. And I think it's because those guys like a Juice WRLD or an X, for the most part, they're gonna like proverbially rest in peace. Like, their legacies aren't going to be consistently disrespected. They're not going to be consistently disrespected. Nobody's going to be trashing them online for the most part. Like, they're going to be pretty much left alone outside of like whenever they drop a posthumous album. But for the most part, they're just going to be left alone. They passed away. It's sad. People are sad, but people leave it alone. That's not going to be the reality of the situation with Julio Foolio. Foolio is going to be consistently disrespected for bare minimum the next 10 years by his ops and their music. Maybe 15, for who knows how long they're going to continue making music. He's going to be super disrespected. They're going to be smoking on this, packed that, rolled up this, stood over that. He can't talk no more. They going to be disrespecting Foolio till the end of time, as long as they continue to rap, or if they lose their lives, or until they lose their lives. So he's going to go down like the name of a Tuka, where Tuka has been consistently disrespected for the last 10, 15, 12 years now. And the boy died at 15 years old. He died at 15 years old in like 2011 or something like that. And they still bring that name up to this day. That is the route that Foolio's going to go down. He's going to be consistently disrespected, music videos, Instagram posts, all that. He's going to be the center of disrespect for the foreseeable future. And his family's not going to be able to avoid that. The ops are going to be talking about him, laughing at him, all that stuff. The crazy fans who are meat riding Young and Ace and ATK are going to be in their comment section trolling. Some people might send pictures of his body or send pictures of the shot up car to his family members like they did with King Von's body. Like, there's going to be consistent trolling and disrespect of his legacy for the next however long. He is never going to get to rest in peace, proverbially at least, like a Juice WRLD for at least the next 15 years. So his family exploiting his legacy isn't quite the same as like other people doing it, because his legacy is going to be exploited regardless. And most of the time it's going to be by the people that don't like him, and it's going to be in a very disrespectful manner. So when Ali Lottie goes out there and she's disrespecting Juice WRLD's legacy and selling his stuff and just overall being really weird around or surrounding Juice WRLD, when people get mad at her, I understand that, because nobody out here is tarnishing Juice WRLD's legacy except herself. When XXXTentacion gets a terrible money grab posthumous album release and people get mad because they're tarnishing his legacy, I can understand that, because nobody is out here consistently talking bad on XXXTentacion and trying to ruin his legacy. But when it comes to Foolio, they're going to do that regardless. So if his legacy is going to be exploited regardless, I understand them making money off of it. Do I like it? No. Would I personally do it? Probably not, but at least I can get it. If everyone else in the world is going to be pointing at you, laughing and making a mockery out of you losing your loved one, at least make a little money off of it. At least give yourself some room to breathe, because, you know, it's rough out here. It's really getting bad. So as much as I don't like it, at least I can somewhat reason with it. At least I can see it and say, you know what? If they're going to be smoking on your son's pack for the next 15 years, I get it. I'm not mad at you. I don't like it, but I'm not mad. But that's going to be pretty much the end of my video. I just wanted to highlight the exploitation of Julio's death and how it's gone over the last 2 weeks, because it has been absolutely crazy. And you know what? Whether you say he deserves it or not, he deserves this exploitation because of the life he lived, I guess that's up for you to decide in the comment section. I just wanted to point it out and show how many avenues of money making that there is to be done when a rapper like a Julio Foolio dies. But that's going to be the end of my video. If you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.